Tao Levy, medical device companies had a great run in the first half of the year. What's your expectations for the second half of the year?
Well, that's a good question. Obviously, with the rest of healthcare, medtech has done well in the first half. In the second half, I think, they could continue their run. Relative to the overall market, medtech still is relatively cheap, and especially when you compare it to their historical metrics, they're definitely very inexpensive. So in the second half, there are definitely a lot of upcoming catalysts, new product approvals we're expecting from some of the large companies, and also from some of the smaller companies. They've got important new products that could be coming out sort of towards the end of the year, early next year. And we've seen quite a bit of M&A happening in medical devices, where you have the larger companies going after the little guys just to help them with the large cap growth profile.
Let's talk about a controversial stock that you like. That's Intuitive Surgical. Clearly, this stock has gotten a lot of play. Why do you like it so much?
A couple of reasons. They dominate the robotic surgery market, and there really isn't much competition out there. Essentially, it's a monopoly right now. Eventually, I think there might be some competition, but for the next several years, they're the really only game in town. And then if you look at surgery is really moving towards more minimally invasive surgery. So instead of a big incision in the abdomen, now you can go through some small incisions in the abdomen, and that results in better patient outcomes. You have less quicker recoveries. There certainly is controversy as to whether the expense of robotic surgery merits hospitals having to invest in them. Ultimately, I think this is just the beginning of robotic surgery. Like with all technology, it will improve. The systems will get smaller. The utility will get better. And I think at the end of the day, smaller incisions really will prove out and win the day.
And another much smaller stock that you're bullish on and is being featured right here at the Wedbush Securities Life Sciences Conference is Cardica. Tell me why you like this one.
Yeah, so following on the same theme of minimally invasive surgery and going into smaller incisions, Cardica has a very innovative endoscopic stapler. So staplers generate about $1.6 billion in sales. It's dominated by J&J and Covidien. And Cardica's stapler actually is the smallest stapler on the market. They're in a limited launch in Europe. Their stapler is 12 millimeters in diameter. The Cardica's stapler is 5 millimeters in diameter. The competitors are 12 millimeters in diameter. And this enables a surgeon to really go through smaller incisions that previously you couldn't do if you wanted to use a stapler.
And then finally, there's a lot of worry that Obamacare and the taxes that are going to be placed on the medical devices will, derail a lot of the run-ups in these stocks. What's your view?
Well, I think that's old news at this point, to be honest. There was certainly a lot of worries, and the stocks took a hit, over the last couple of years. And I think this year, that's why you've seen, medtech and healthcare rebound, because investors have been able to better price in their expectations on the impact from Obamacare. Obviously, there's a lot of, there's an attempt in Congress to try to repeal the medtech tax. We're assuming that it does not get repealed, that it's here to stay. And the companies have really started to work around it. You aren't seeing a ton of pressure on their earnings. They're cutting back here, cutting back there. So, they're figuring out how to operate in this environment. And then, hopefully the benefit over the next couple of years is that you have this big influx in patients, and that will lead to greater sales and ultimately higher profits for these companies.
Thanks a lot, Tao.
Great, thank you.